Hi everyone and welcome to NameHero.com. In this video tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to set up a fully functioning domain registration page on your website so your customers can come to your website and register and manage all their domains with you. So if you've ever wanted to have a side business or a business where you're like GoDaddy or you're like us here at NameHero and want to resell your own domains, you can do this with our reseller hosting packages. Now, I encourage you to check out our blog because on our blog, we have many reseller resources. So if you just go right to one of our pages here, you'll see on the right side, we have a lot of free guides here. And we have our training here. So our Reseller Hosting 101 and our Resell Hero ebook. These are very good resources if you're interested in participating in reseller hosting or even reselling domain names. I know me personally, when I started NameHero, I was really starting it for a place to register and renew all my domains in one place. I'm also a domain investor and have been for about 20 years now. And the problem I had is I just had domains everywhere. So I wanted an interface that worked on my mobile phone, that I could pay with Bitcoin, that I could pay with PayPal, or use my credit card to register my domains, keep them all into one central login with two-factor authentication, and then could manage everything with ease. There was no system out there that I could do that with. So that's why I developed one of the main reasons I've developed NameHero in the first place. So if you're looking to do something similar, you can definitely do this with web hosts or WHMCS. So I'm going to go over to our reseller hosting packages because our corporate hero package comes with a free license to WHMCS. So with all of our reseller hosting products, you're going to be able to resell cloud web hosting with free and automatic SSL, Lightspeed web server with free Cloudflare, solid state drives protected by RAID 10, free nightly backups, all these features. But if you're just even wanting to setting up a domain registration site, you can do that as well. But I highly recommend the corporate hero package because it does come with that free WHMCS license. If you go to WHMCS.com, you're going to pay at least $15.95 a month just for that license. So with us, you get everything. You have the ability to resell hosting, even if you're just going to be a domain registrar and resell domains, you're still going to have the ability later on to resell web hosting if you want to, or you can have hosting for all of your websites. So it comes with all the features that you need. Our startup and entrepreneur packages, they're more used for once you start to outgrow the corporate package, then you can add a startup package to your cluster, so to speak, or you can add an entrepreneur package, and that just really gives you more space. So people always say, well, what happens when I run out of space for the corporate package? Well, you just add another package. That's why we have these other ones, because primarily every reseller goes with the corporate package because it's just loaded with features and WHMCS. So I'm going to go ahead and select this, and I'm going to go through the order process, show you how to install WHMCS, and then I'm going to show you how to integrate your domain reseller account. So for this tutorial, I already have my domain in my interface at NameHero. So I'm going to select option 3 saying I will use my existing domain and update my name servers. Now, if you don't have your domain, it certainly is a lot easier if you register it with us because with all of our reseller hosting packages, they come with free private name servers. And in order for those name servers to function correctly, you have to register them with your domain registrar. So that means if your domain's registered at GoDaddy or if it's registered at NameCheap or HostGator or another host out there, then you actually have to go in their interface and register your name servers. The problem with that is I can't demonstrate that here because I don't have accounts all over the place. I had a GoDaddy account at one time, but it's not active anymore because I own NameHero. And same with our support team. They can't support every single interface out there. But if your name is registered with us here at NameHero, our order processing team is actually going to check it for you. So even if you have trouble registering, which I'm going to show you how to do it in this tutorial, our order processing team is going to go through and double check to make sure everything is ready to go. So I highly recommend, if your domain is not registered with us, if you want to register a new one, great. It comes free for the first year as long as you're paying longer than 1 year with us. Or you can transfer your domain. So if it is at GoDaddy or another registrar, just type in your domain here and follow the directions, and the first year's transfer fee is free as well. So again, I've already got my domain, so I'm going to select option 3. My example domain is going to be resellerhostingus.com. I'm going to click use. And now I'm going to select my billing cycle. So if you've been, or if you've read any of our tutorials or watched our videos on YouTube, you know at NameHero we reward customers on longevity, meaning we want to work with people that want to work with us. If you just want to sign up for 1 month, that's fine, but you're going to pay more if you were just to sign up for 24 months. You're going to save a lot, and this doesn't even reflect the discount we're currently running for our spring special. As it notes on here, that discount's going to be shown on the checkout page, so you're going to be saving substantially by signing up for at least 24 months. So that's what I recommend doing. You know, reseller hosting is all about ROI, especially if you're going to be reselling domains. You know, the more return you make, the more money you're going to make. So that's what I recommend. What I find with people that sign up monthly, for one, it's a pain in the butt because if they miss a payment, their account is suspended. And we've seen this more recently here at NameHero, is that sometimes people's credit cards expire, or for some reason they didn't have funds in their account the day the bill was due. And then once your account gets suspended, everything is suspended. All of your customers are suspended, and that makes your business look really, really bad. So, you know, I recommend going at least 6 months, but since the domain is free for the first year for 12 and 24 months, it only makes sense to pick one of these. And you can see here, free domain is noted by that. So, you know, me personally, I want the biggest ROI. I understand it's a little bit of an investment to pay for 24 months up front, but that's it. You don't have to worry about it again for 2 years. So you just have to worry about making money after you get set up. So that's what I recommend doing. I know I'm a little different, but that's just my suggestion from my experience being in this industry for 2 decades now. Okay, so now we offer Drop My Site backups. These are highly recommended, and this is to protect your main reseller site. Your main reseller site is going to include your WHMCS install, which means it's going to include customer data. Because it's going to include your customer data, it's a very good idea to have extra backups. So that's why we offer Drop My Site. So I highly recommend at least 5 gigabytes. You can always add more Drop My Site space. And this is the price per month. So for $2 a month, I mean, gosh, you can't even get a pop anymore for $2 a month, or for $2, much less $2 a month. So $2 a month, this is just going to give you peace of mind that your data is protected. We do offer free nightly backups at NameHero, but we only retain 1 night's worth of data. Many times we see customers when they need backups, they need more than 1 night's retention. So if you're going to keep your own backups, then that's fine, do that. But at least just have an option. So that's why we offer Drop My Site, to give you at least 30 days of restore points. And for $2 a month, I mean, really, who would pass up on that option? Okay, so WHMCS starter license, this comes free with the corporate plans. You can see corporate only. If I was to go buy this separately, I'm looking at $15.95 a month. So huge saving here. You know, it's worth that in itself. So I'm going to click continue. And now you can see that our spring discount is showing on here, saving $293. So this knocks the price down from $838 to $545. So you're going to get that big time savings with our current spring promotion. Now, when you watch this video, it might not be in the spring, so I can't guarantee this discount. I can only guarantee this discount for as long as this coupon code is active. If you watch this in the fall or the winter time, or even next spring, you know, the promotions can change. So just please note that the promotions are only valid as long as they are valid. And if you try this promo code and it doesn't work, that means there's either another sale going on or it's expired. So definitely recommend, if you're watching this video and it is spring, might as well jump in and take advantage of it, because that's a substantial savings that you're going to get. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the checkout, fill out my credit card information, and I will join you again with setting up WHMCS. Okay, once you complete your order, you're going to see we have a quick survey here. We love customers at NameHero. We truly do. You know, it's our goal to provide 10 for 10 customer service and satisfaction. So because of that, throughout your whole experience with us here at NameHero, we're going to have surveys, and we try not to be annoying with them, but we want to hear feedback from you, because that allows us to always continually working on improving. You know, I don't believe there's anything such as perfection, but we make progress always. We're always working on becoming better in every area. So if you had success with your order, we certainly appreciate all 5s on all of these. And then after you answer all 3 of these, you have an opportunity to share your experience with others. This will be published on our website. So, we certainly appreciate kind words. I mean, I personally like looking at, good reviews versus even looking at income, because I really want to see that we're doing a good job for you. So if you could be so kind to fill that out and leave us your name and email so we can follow up. This is not to spam you. We will not be sending you promos to this email address. This is just simply done by Shopper Approved, which is an approved third party that makes sure all of our reviews are non-objective and they are written by you and not modified by us in any single way. But if you don't want to fill this out, you do not have to. Some people, when they fill out our order forms, they feel like this is a requirement. It's not. If you don't want to, just click the X, which I'm going to since I'm doing a demo here. So I'm just going to click X on it. Okay, so after that, my order has been put through. So now the first thing we need to do is register those private name servers. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if your domain is registered with us at NameHero and your reseller account's in that same account, our order processing team is going to check this. So you can set this up, but then rest assured they're going to check it and make sure it is correct. So I'm going to continue to the client area. And I've got a couple different packages since this is my demo account, but I'm going to click on Cloud Web Hosting, and I'm going to Corporate Hero, which is resellerhostingus.com. And from here, I've got the name of my name server. So my private name servers is ns1.resellerhostingus.com and ns2.resellerhostingus.com. So I need to register these with these IPs. So I'm going to hover over domains, click My Domains, go here, and I'm going to hit up resellerhostingus.com. And I'm going to go to Private Name Servers. This is under Manage. Click Private Name Servers. And this is where I register them. So I'm going to enter NS1. I'm going to go over here and copy this IP address, put Paste, and click Save Changes. Now, I've actually, since this is a demo account, I've registered these already. So I'm not going to click Save because I'll just get a duplication error. But make sure you click Save on yours. And then you want to do the same thing for NS2. Copy this IP. Enter NS2 here, and then paste that IP address and click Save. So that's just going to tie your name servers to your domain. This is done as an extra security measure. This is to make sure the actual owner of the domain is controlling it. So that's why it's required not only to set up your hosting, but to actually tie it to the registration of the domain. So that's what it means when we say you need to register your name servers. Now, after this is done, there's still one more step you need to do at the registry level, and that's you need to update the domain to actually use these name servers. So I'm going to click on Name Servers under Manage, and you want to make sure that you're using NS1 and ns2.resellerhostingus.com or your domain. Don't use reseller hosting, use your domain in there. So at NameHero, you just click Use Custom and make sure that's what is entered here is what you're seeing here. And once again, our order processing team, they do a really good job at checking to make sure everything is right, and they'll make sure that it's set up correctly. But that's why it is important to have your domain with us. If your domain is not, then we can't check it because we don't have login to your GoDaddy account. We don't have login to your HostGator account. So if you don't have your domain with us, transfer it to us or just register a new one. You can have your website doesn't even have to be on this domain. This is just going to be for your name servers. But please make sure you get this set up right, because that's what's going to cause everything to function correctly. Okay, so once that is done, we are now ready to install WHMCS. So the first thing we need to do is get the license key. So if I click on Add-ons under Overview, you're going to see WHMCS Starter License Corporate Only. This is the license key right here. So I want to copy this because I'm going to need this when I go to install it. So I've got a text document or a notepad document in another screen, and I'm just going to paste it in there so I have it once I go to install WHMCS. So now I'm going to go back to resellerhostingus.com. I'm going to go log into cPanel. So under Actions, log into cPanel. And this is cPanel. If you've had hosting anywhere else, it's most likely you've had cPanel in some fashion. HostGator uses it. GoDaddy has it. Bluehost has it. A lot of the most popular web hosts out there use cPanel. So same here at NameHero. And we're going to use our application installer to install WHMCS. So we're going to scroll down to the way bottom here, and we're just going to hover over this arrow and find WHMCS. So I'm going to click it. And now here's an overview of WHMCS, what it does and how it looks and all that stuff. They have a super old screenshot of it too. WHMCS looks nothing like this. They really, really need to update that. But, it's not my place to do it because, I don't own WHMCS, but that's a really old screenshot of it. Anyways, I'm going to click Install Now, and you'll see here, you'll need a license to install and run WHMCS, and that's what we just copied. So we're going to click Install Now. And we want to install this on our root domain. So I'm going to use HTTP www. I'm a big fan of just using www. Now, in NameHero, all of our domains have free and automatic SSL. But if you just set up your account, it takes about 24 hours for your SSL to engage because it waits for your DNS to propagate. So I like just to do the HTTP www and then change that later on just to avoid any confusion so I can get up and running. Okay, so now I'm going to select my domain. I only have one domain on this account, so resellerhostingus.com. And then I need to choose a directory. So this is, if you want when someone goes to your website to see WHMCS immediately, leave this blank. If you want to put it in a folder, such as maybe billing, such as maybe domains or web hosting, you enter it in there. But when people go to resellerhostingus.com, I want them to see my WHMCS. That's how I'm setting this up. Data directory, we can leave that default. The cron job, leave that default. Company name, this is going to be the name of your company, and you can change this stuff later. So if you don't feel like filling it out now, just leave it default, but you can always change it. I'm just going to call it Reseller Hosting US. Admin folder. Now this should be something custom. I don't recommend admin because this is where you're going to log into the back end of WHMCS. So you want to make this a little hard to guess, but you cannot. I repeat, you cannot use special characters here. It's got to be alphanumeric. It's got to be numbers or letters. It can't be the @ symbol or the pound sign or hashtag. Because that'll actually break the install. So we're just going to call this my area 1. So look, we kind of masked it a little bit. And once again, I'm going to copy this over to my text document just so I have all this information about it. Company email. This is going to be the email address that is just a generic email. All my emails from WHMCS. So use something generic. Billing at resellerhostingus.com is perfect. Contact at resellerhostingus. Admin at resellerhosting. Any of those are perfect. It's not really a personalized one though. So valid license key. So now we're going to be able to paste that key that we pulled from our interface. Once again, inside the NameHero interface, click on add-ons, and here is your license key. It's automatically set up if you have the corporate hero account with us. Go back into the app installer and paste that in here. So that's going to be the license key that I have for mine, and yours will look somewhat similar. Okay, now admin username. I do not recommend using admin and pass. Use something strong here. So I'm just going to use, let's say, maybe. So see how I use alphanumeric, as a username, just because I want to make that tough. I don't want someone getting into my install. Then I'll click this key to give me a secure password. It's a real strong password. See, 58 for 10. I can make it even stronger by adding some numbers. And I'm going to copy this in another document so I do not lose this. You wouldn't believe how many support tickets we get because people forget this. So right now, before you go any further, copy this down in a text document, because copy and paste it. Hover over this, right-click copy, right-click paste it in the document, right-click copy and paste it in your document so you have it, because trust me, you would not believe the number of support tickets we get for this. Okay, so first name and last name, this is going to be your name, or you can use system administrator, whatever works for you. If you want to personalize it. I probably would, since this is your WHMCS account, so let's call it Ryan Gray. And this is going to be my email, not just the generic one. So it could be admin or it could be Ryan, whatever your personal email is, because this is your main administration account. If you hire employees or you have employees, they're going to have their own account. That's going to have different privileges and access and all that. So this way, this kind of lets you know that this is your account and, that's the main one. Okay, so now we're going to choose our language. The good thing about WHMCS is it is bilingual. So I speak English, and so that's what my site's going to be in as well. If you speak differently, you can select it here, and everything will be translated for you. Now, there are some advanced options. If you don't know what these are, don't worry about it. You can do automatic upgrades if you want, but kind of, do that at your own risk. I just recommend leaving these default for the time being. And next, you can enter your email address in here if you want to email all the details, but it's going to encrypt the passwords. So, if you make sure you write down the passwords before you go any further. Okay, so now I'm going to click install, and it's going to install WHMCS on my root domain. Just takes a few seconds here, not even long at all. Now, if we go to resellerhostingus.com, you're going to see I've got WHMCS installed. Now you can see, begin the search for your perfect domain name. So see, I've now got a site similar to NameHero. So like at NameHero where I showed you where someone could register their domain with us, you now have the same thing, but it's white labeled. No one, it doesn't say NameHero on it. You can have your customers register their domains through you. You can have them transfer their domain through you. So you can see search and transfer are both here. And so that's pretty cool. It allows you an extra revenue opportunities. So now we need to still set up the back end so everything is configured, because right now if I type in and click search, it's going to have a CAPTCHA on here. And we can disable this later on. Click search. So see, I get an error. That's because the back end is not set up. So we have to do that. So we go back here and it says administrative URL. So this is the admin access area. I click this and now this is my back end. So what you want to do with this page is copy this URL and put it in your text document, because this is how you get to the back end, and only you or your employees should have access to this. You should not publish this anywhere, and no one else will be able to find this if you name that directory really tough. That's why I called it, my area 1, because I wanted to make it as hard as possible for someone to figure it out or to get into it, because it's not going to be found anywhere else. Now I'm going to enter that username and password I created to get in the back end. So I'm going to enter my username and I'm going to enter my password. Click login. Okay, once I get into the back end for the first time, I have their setup wizard. This is developed by WHMCS, and personally I think it's a great tool, because especially those that are just getting started, it allows you step by step to set up everything, so by the time you're finished you have a fully functioning website. There's just a couple extra things we need to do, which I'll walk you through as well. So again, if this is your first time running it, please stick with me step by step here. So you're going to see that it's asked for our company name, our logo, our email address, country, and language. So a lot of this we already defined during our initial installation, but now's a good time to kind of confirm that everything looks good. And you can always change this. If you change your company name later on or get a new logo, you can change that as well. And the logo is not even required. So if you don't have one right now, don't worry about it. But if you do, you can click choose file and upload it. This is the administration email address, or the email address that's going to be used for your invoices and for your customers to communicate. So, we did this when we installed it, but if you need to change it now, you can. This is the address. This is what was going to show on your customers' invoices. So I've just got me an example address in there. So enter the address to your business. The country, I'm in the United States and I speak English. Next is a payment screen. So I believe strongly the easiest one and fastest one to set up is PayPal. And so even if you don't have a PayPal account yet, it will prompt you once you get your first customer to sign up for an account to get the payment. So that's a cool thing. You don't even have to wait. You don't have to set up the PayPal account right now. You can just set it up when you get your first payment. So you just need to enter an email address for that account, and it can't be an account that's already exists. So if you have an existing PayPal account, then you would just use your email address there. Me personally, I recommend having a separate PayPal account though for your business. If you have a personal PayPal account, keep that separate and have a business one, because if you're selling domains especially, you're going to have a lot of transactions, a lot of in and outs. So you want to make sure that that's separate from your personal PayPal. So for me, I'm just going to enter billing at resellerhostingus.com, and that's going to be my new PayPal account for this site. So once I get my first payment, I'll be prompted to create an account. Next, they have a deal with the company to where they can apply for a merchant account. You can do this if you want. Personally, merchant accounts, applying for them is a little bit in depth. You have to describe your business and you have to submit tax documentation and all that stuff. When I personally feel that using PayPal is great to get started. PayPal allows credit cards and e-checks and bank transfers and all that. But I feel like if you want to just do credit cards as well, the easier route is use Stripe. And Stripe's not in their setup wizard. So again, you can choose this one if you want, but I've personally never used it, so I'm not going to I can't vouch for it. Mail-in payment, I don't recommend this, because this means that when someone signs up for a domain, they have to mail you a check. The problem with this is, who writes checks nowadays in 2018, right? So if they don't have a debit or credit card, do you really want to do business with them? Because this means they're going to write you a check for their domain or their hosting, and then when it comes time to pay again, they have to write you another check, and then you have to worry about getting bad checks. I only recommend this if you're doing business locally and if you have higher ticket items. If doing this for a $20 domain registration or $15 domain registration, I just don't recommend it personally. Okay, so that gets the payment set up. Next is to set up your domain reseller account. Now, if you've watched any of my videos previously, I love this for the enum setup, but it doesn't work. And I've troubleshooted this for hours, and just recently I talked to my team right before I got on this video about this, because we've seen this reported in our help desk recently. If you follow this wizard to set up your enum account, for some reason it doesn't accept the password. So I don't know what's going on. So this video, I'm going to show you how to use Reseller Club, which is a different company than enum. Personally, we've had a lot of trouble with enum, and their support's really bad, and yada, yada, yada. So I wouldn't recommend doing this right now. I would not recommend enum. So just select the enum enable, and enable domains, but don't select enum. And also, this is going to be your price per domain. You can change this later, but this is basically going to set up .com, .net, .org, .biz, .info for $14.95. And I'm going to show you how to set up your Reseller Club domain reseller account, so then I'll show you the pricing inside of there, and then you can adjust this. We'll go through that in a second. Okay, and finally, this is where you set up your hosting account server. So if I go back to my NameHero account, in my client area, you're going to see the server name is right here. And this is different for every customer at NameHero. This is the node that your account is on. So you're going to go back to your, whoops, we're not there yet, not there yet. And we're going to paste this in here as the host name. And then we've got the username of the account, which is going to be found in our welcome email. So if you don't have the email, we always archive all this stuff. And right here in reseller account information, and you should be using this anyways to help you set up everything. I'm just doing this in a private window because I don't want to expose my password on the video. So I'm going to copy this. And again, this is just your username and password that was assigned to your account. My password, paste, verify connection, and you can see it fills out the other stuff for you. So it pulls this from your reseller account. Click next, and we're complete. So at this point in time, your WHMCS is ready to rock and roll. Your reseller account's been integrated. Your name, logo, all that stuff is set up. It's set up to sell domains, but we have to enable a domain reseller account. So this is simple, but we're going to go to Setup, Products and Services, Domain Registrars. Okay, now I was fooling around with enum, but they're our pain in the butt. So we're going to deactivate them. And we're going to go down here to Reseller Club. And all you do is, if you don't have it activated yet, you just go down here and click Activate. So it's just kind of the opposite. And it says, don't have a Reseller Club yet? Get one here. So you just need to click this link and fill out this information. This is a 100% free Reseller Club domain reseller account. This is going to allow you to sell domains, and they have other products too you can resell, but primarily .coms, .net, .org, a lot of the new GTLDs and all that stuff. But this will create your reseller account for free instantly, so you don't have to wait for approval or anything like that. Fill out your company name, your name, your address, city, country, and all this good stuff, right? Your login details, these are important because you're going to need that. Your currency, accounting currency, and read their agreement and select their CAPTCHA. So that's what you need to do to get your account. When you do that, they will send you an email, and your email is going to look like this right here. So I've signed up for one, and I'm given my login details and my reseller ID. So I now want to integrate this in my WHMCS. So what I need to do is go back to WHMCS, and you're going to see it wants my reseller ID, my API key, and then it allows me to put it in test mode if I want to test everything. So the first thing I need is that reseller ID. So this is going to be in your welcome email from Reseller Club. I'm going to copy this, paste this in here, and then I need to grab my API key. So I'm going to show you where to find that. When you get your account, you're going to be able to log in, and it looks like this. As soon as you log in, you're going to get this kind of interface here. So you want to go under Settings and API, and it's logged me out. So let's grab my username and password. Oops. Just a second here while I get logged back in. And my password, log in. Okay, this brings us back in, and we just need that API key because that's what's going to connect the account to our WHMCS. So again, it's in Settings and API. view your API key. We're going to copy this. And then we're going to go back to WHMCS, paste this. I'll just go ahead and put it in test mode since I'm not going to fund the account at this time. Click Save Changes. Okay, now Reseller Club is enabled. And you can see I did disable the Enom account because I want to use Reseller Club. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is whitelist our IP address. So if you see down here, before you can make API calls from your system, you must whitelist the IP addresses from where the calls will be made. So what we do is go back to our NameHero interface, client area, and grab a couple IPs. We want to grab this one, our primary IP, paste. And then we want to grab this one, copy it, paste it, and then this one. So all the IP addresses on this page, copy them over, paste them into here, and save whitelisted IP addresses. That's going to make sure that your reseller account is whitelisted to make API calls on your behalf. So now we're all set to make our calls. That's simple, but it is required, and you'll get errors if you don't do that. Okay, so now we need to set up our domain pricing. So now if we go to our website, you're going to see BrianGray.NameHero.com. And I still have captchas enabled here. And you can turn this off in the settings. Now you can see that it's allowing me to search for domains because I've set up a domain registrar. So if I was actually to go through this, I could actually register this domain. But we need to set up our pricing because we need to make sure that we're setting our margins up correctly. So what I mean by this is we want to make sure that obviously our customers are paying us more than it costs for a domain. So what do I go to is set up products and services domain pricing. And you can see if I open the pricing for .com, it's set for register, transfer, and renewal at $14.95. Okay, so what we need to do is go into Reseller Club and see what our pricing is. So if we go into products, if we go to its main page here, click the products and set pricing, go down here to domain registration. You're going to see manage prices. So this is going to show you what the price is and recommended margins. So for example, the .com, and we just can scroll down there in alphabetical order. So a .com is $9.45. That is our price. So if we go back over here and look at our pricing, we need to make this price greater than $9.45 because any price above that is our profit. So a 20% margin on the domain is $11.34. So we could register it. We could put $11.34 for registration, and look, it kind of goes along here. Renewal is the same and transfer is the same. So we could do $11.34 and then we'll have a 20% profit margin. And they actually have a nice tool. So we just would go down here and save it. And of course, you can have a higher profit margin if you would like. So that's what they have in their tool up here is you can actually change this based on your profit margin. So you can click this here, and so you can do registration. Maybe you want to do 35%, 35%, 35%. Set profit, and this is going to update it. And I don't know why it's not saving. Oh, this allows you to, you have to set it here. Save, yes, set my prices. And we get a blank page. One thing I find about a lot of the domain reseller registration profiles is that they're like, or the interfaces themselves have been set up years ago and they're kind of clunky, but that's okay because you're going to be using the back end anyway. So we'll let that go do its thing. But you basically want to go through your WHMCS to each one of these and set the pricing on them to reflect how much you're going to pay and how much your customers are going to pay. So you make a nice profit, right? Yeah, obviously if you're reselling, it all comes into ROI. You know, how much ROI are you going to make? And this can take a little bit of time to set all this up. So, you know, it might take you a couple of days to get all your domains put in, especially if you're going to sell a lot of the GTLDs. and for some reason it's not letting me come back into their interface. But basically it's the same process to going through all of these, and you can sell other TLDs than just the .com, .net, .org, .biz. These are the ones that predefines. You can add more by just entering it inside of here. So whatever ones you want to enter, just type it in here and click Save Changes. If you want to add stuff like there's a grace period, your domain pricing for bulk, but like your DNS management, email forwarding, ID protection, those things can all be added here as much as you want to price them. But once we make our changes and click Save, now if we go back to our site, and I've got to reload the site, then we'll be able to reflect that on our live interface to where our customers will pay. Now, remember, before you can get going, you have to fund the account. So you actually have to do My Billing, add funds, and you're going to have to add funds before you can get started. So you can see they have a minimum of $5. So you have to have at least $5, which that's not even going to cover one domain registration. So, you'd probably want to put $25, $30 in here, and they accept PayPal. So you would just continue and fund it to get it going, because obviously you cannot start using your reseller account until you add funds to it. But you can see here, let's see if it updated the price here from this. Yes, you can see it's now $11.34 then $14.95. So now my site is completely ready to start selling domains, and it is that simple. And Reseller Club, they have some great pricing, much better than Enom actually. I think Enom's is $9.98 a domain, so $9.45 for a .com is pretty good. And again, you can go through all the TLDs that you want to sell, and I believe you need to agree to their agreement too in here. Like if we go to Manage TLDs. This allows you to say, no new orders, do not sell or sell. So the account by default is going to sell all of these, and you can make changes here and stuff like that. So these are basically the TLDs that you want to enter into your WHMCS, or just the ones you want to sell. You don't have to enter them all. You can just put in the ones that you want to sell and put them in here. And then we'll go over to our pricing, and that's where we'll grab the prices and adjust according to how much we want to pay. So I bring it back up here. So you can see this is that tool I ran to upgrade it to 35%. This is the 35% margin. This is my cost. And so that'll help you, to make educated decisions. And, you can also, I think you can search through here, .net. We can click this here. So you can see a .net is $13.19 for me. So if I wanted to keep that 35% margin on registration, I could do $17.79, and I would just open the pricing here. And I could set it here. Whoops, $17.79. Same for the transfer, renewal, and save. And you'll notice WHMCS has options. If someone's going to pay you 2 years, you might give them a bigger discount. If they want to pay 10 years, maybe you'll do a bigger discount. Or maybe you just want to do 1 year. You don't want to have to worry about some additional ones yet. So at least do 1 year. But that's up to you and how you want to run your business. But that's pretty much all there is to setting it up, is just going through this, and it does take some time and some patience, but it's fairly easy to set up your reseller account with Reseller Club. This is instantaneous. You don't have to wait for approval. You just go to the URL that was mentioned in the setup and fill out your information, and they send you an email with all the stuff you need. Whitelist the IP, put the API key in, and you're all set. So if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. Reseller Club and WHMCS allows you to be your own domain registrar. Great for your customers, great upsell, especially if you're offering hosting. And, a great thing if you're also just a domain investor to, really have all your domains in one place. Let us know if you have any questions, but thanks so much for watching and using NameHero.com.